morning. Thank you for being here. Today we're having fun. We're reflecting a little bit on different things. We're addressing a theme, and it's going to be, a few options of what that theme could be. There's obviously so many options that it could be. There's so many paths that we could take. So many of them could be somewhere where you get lost. And what we want is to find the exit. So welcome to the Labyrinth. If you're aware of the Greek myth of the Minotaur, well, welcome. Welcome to the island of Crete, where the king has built underneath its castle a whole labyrinth. Why? Because there's a monster in its midst. Who? Half man, half bull? The body of a human, the head of a bull. He goes crazy. Welcome to the messed up life of the Greek myth. So the myths have been used, trickling down from oral history. They've been used to create tales. They were shared to the people, from the people, by the people, to the people. And they were teaching lessons that help your psyche form itself. And it teaches you things that you should be doing and shouldn't be doing. And just like the fairy tales that have been greatly summarized and softened by Walt Disney, the fairy tales as well as the Greek myths are very difficult to stomach for our current psyche, let's say, because they're a little bit messed up. There's weird things that happens. There's, in the Greek myth, relationship between gods, goddesses, and humans. So we're interacting with, the surreal, with magic, with eternity, and superpowers, things. And today I want to talk about the Minotaur, or the Minotaur. How do you pronounce it?
Minotaur.
Minotaur. Miniature.
Minotaur.
Minotaur. All right, so the Minotaur is half bull and then half human. He has the head of a bull, the body of a human, and he feeds on human flesh. So that monster is actually the child of the king's wife, Pasiphae, and she fell in love with a bull, as you do. That bull was sent by the god Poseidon, Neptune, the god of the water, the ocean, and other things. And he basically sends a white bull, a snow white bull, to Minos, the king of Crete, and asks it to sacrifice it. But Minos is like, yeah, no, I'm going to keep it alive. Obviously, Poseidon is like, I said, but I specifically asked for it. I specifically requested it. And and obviously he's like, I'm gonna punish him, right? As you do, because when you're a god, you have an ego and you give orders and you expect the lowly humans to do your bidding. So he makes Minos' wife, Pasiphae, fall in love with the bull. And they have a kid together. And that kid is the Minotaur, half human, half bull. And they don't know how to deal with that because, one, it brings shame to the king, the royalty, because the wife had something with an animal and then with someone else than her husband. High patriarchy. And yeah, there's a kid, and that kid is a monster. So they ask their genius architect, Daedalus, to create something that's going to be a golden cage for the Minotaur, and that is the Labyrinth. So the Labyrinth is right underneath the castle, and they ask, as a tribute to their, which is super messed up as well. It's interesting to see how the king is messed up because he's being messed with by gods. So, hurt people. He asks, as a tribute to Athens, to the city of Athens, for 7 young people every 7 years, girls and boys, and they ask them to be sent to the island to be sacrificed and eaten by the Minotaur. Right? So Ariadne, the daughter of Minos and Pasiphae, is here on the island, and she meets the young people who are going to be sacrificed one year. She falls in love with Theseus, and Theseus is going to be sacrificed. So she does one thing. She gives him a piece of thread, and that red thread is going to accompany him all the while he's in the labyrinth, and it's going to help him to find his way back. So he's going to kill the Minotaur and then come back unscathed to the other exits, and meet again with Ariadne and have the life that he wants to have, which cool. That tale, that theme, has helped shape a lot of different brains, a lot of different ways of thinking, like, oh my god, we have this tribute, we have to do something, we have to volunteer or to select kids and send them to this island that does not stop asking for 7 young people to be killed. And that's a way to deal with things, right? That's a way to deal with things. We have to do something. And then one day someone finds a little trick and actually gets out of the situation. And that helps me to enter a theme that I want to talk to with you, and that's the fake light. And that's something that happens when you enter spirituality, when you enter this whole realm where people are talking about so many things, and because so many people are repeating the same thing over and over again, well, you kind of might not discern that that might not be the truth, or you might really enjoy, with your ego or maybe with your wounded heart, the idea of those things, because they appear as new, and they kind of give you value, they give you importance, something that you have lacked. And that's something where I've been, and that's the idea of having a purpose, having a mission. And obviously we all have a purpose and we all have a mission, and there's that one thing, right? But that one thing could be trickled down to an easier shape or an easier way, and it doesn't have to be the one thing. So it's not a one size fits all. And I think what happens when we get out of the system or get out of the matrix is that we actually want to find our own path, and we actually go from one system to another. We go from one creation, one series of illusion, and we could very easily go into another, which seems like it's a rebellion against the other, and it's a way to destroy the patriarchy, or a lot of different things that could be ethically superior to whatever we deem inferior. But what happens is that when you enter something, there's always going to be the dynamics of a system, because there's always going to be a mix between order and chaos. Nothing is pure chaos, nothing is pure order. It's always a mixture between two, where between a polarity where something is in balance with something else, and it's always going to move. It's that one thing, and something is going to work for others, and some things are not going to work for you. And that is to say the theme of today, which is that having a purpose, finding out your purpose, that could be really found within people, or within real modalities and system where you could do so much healing that you actually find that thing. But I'm talking about the quest that is usually highlighted by spiritual systems and talk, and the way people do what they do, which is that one mission, that one purpose, your North Node, your true purpose, like why you came here to be, what you came to accomplish. And that gives us, reality that, yeah, you're important. We're all important. Yes, you're unique. Yeah. There's something within, right, that that is your essence, and that is going to radiate. And that's so, so, so beautiful, obviously. But how do we approach this? How can we approach this, and how can we find our way through the maze, through the labyrinth, in order to actually get into your essence and let it shine, and get out of the constrictions, the system, the dynamics that are not going to really help? So I want to talk about one thing. Your soul knows the way. The only way out is through. So sometimes we actually have to get down into the dirt, crawl our way through it, and find that one thing. And obviously there's going to be a lot of cul-de-sac, a lot of places where it's just going to be a blank wall, and you're going to have to take a few steps back and try again. And it's through failure that you're going to understand that the path is, the thing, it's the journey, and not especially the destination. But it's a puzzle, and sometimes people are going to try to sell you the big picture, to sell you the whole picture, instead of the fact that you have to pick out a lot of different pieces and make out your own puzzle, because it's your life. Your life is so complex, and it's so much more than that very simplistic way of seeing things. And I know it's attractive. It's magnetic to see when people are saying with a lot of assurance that this is what they came here to do and this is their purpose and a lot of things. But hey, newsflash, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm here every day choosing that I want to record this video or host a meditation. And, throughout my journey, a lot of things have changed, and I sometimes trace back my path, my footsteps to different ways, and I rediscover, I remember things. But I never let one thing be, sculpted in stone, written in stone, and then never shifting, because life is flowing, everything is flowing, and I'm learning how to float. So your soul knows the way. If you go into a lot of the dynamics that people talk about with the idea of like searching and reaching and like, going into those ideas, those modalities, those research, the astrology of it, we're going to go outside of yourself. Whereas if you actually go and connect with your soul through an experience, through a moment of grace, through a true communication, through listening, through remembering, your soul will know the way. So you actually have to go in that labyrinth. You actually have to go within and get lost in that maze, instead of trying to fix that quest outside of yourself. So how could you do this? There's many, many ways that you could communicate with yourself, with your higher self, or with your guides, and different paths. I'm going to just share a few of them. Not all of them are going to be attractive to you. Not all of them are going to be resonating with you, but who knows? So one of them is the Akashic records. What are the Akashic records? I'm very thankful to the time that I actually met the records and I went there for the first time, because it has truly changed a lot of things. So the Akashic records is a dimension. It's something that is outside of ourselves that we could tap into. We can enter this way of being, this awareness, in order to speak with the keepers, the mentors, the guides that are within the Akashic records, and that tell you how it's been, how it is, and how it could be should you decide this and that. And they're going to be here and help you and guide you and soften the angles and kind of cast lights upon the path, so that you could actually go into the places with a little bit more clarity than you would be. And that requires deep, intense spiritual work, deep discernment, deep concentration, so that your focus can be, still on the moment, on the path. So that's one of the ways. There's also obviously meditation. There's the idea that what you're going to find is not your enemy. Where you have to go when you go within, when who you're going to meet when you go within, when you enter that labyrinth, it's not going to be an enemy. The theme of the Minotaur, it's so fascinating, because we're facing a monster who eats human flesh, right? So enemy, but in the end, that person who's in the middle is the same, like the half brother of Ariadne, right? So she actually helps someone to kill her half brother, no matter what's happening. So the Minotaur, he's horned, he has horns, he's a bull. We could compare that with the devil, the idea of the devil, of Satan. It's something with horns, the horned one. That's how people describe him. So sometimes we're scared of going within, of trying to find our way, because we think that we're going to find something that we hate within ourselves, not something else, but something of us that we have been trying to remove so much, that we're trying to cast away, to not see. But the more you actually go within and you're like, this is not going to be an enemy, this is going to be a discovery, this is going to be an embodying, an integration, an embracing of whoever is there. And you know, those impulses and those versions of us, they're not easy to embody. Some of them can be really difficult, some of them can be really wounded, some of them can be really clumsy, uncomfortable, because we don't know how to deal with that energy. We've never seen people deal with that energy in a balanced way, or in a way that we respected or felt resonated or felt was doable, just doable. So one of the first thing is that connection with, you know, finding your purpose, but also just finding that self, doing the shadow work, entering the maze, doing the spiritual work. First, a little tip is, yeah, that's not going to be easy. That's not going to be comfortable. Pick out a red thread. Take something with you so that you know your way back. Have a system that allows you to come back, to take a few steps back, to choose. Actually, no, I'm actually going to go that way instead. So pick out a red thread. That could be a community. That could be people that you trust that are going to check on you. That could be a mantra, affirmations, a stone, a crystal. It could be so many things, but just having that one thing that anchors you back into where you've been, what you actually desire. That's why we say so many times, like, set your intentions. Like, what are your intentions? What are you going to give focus to? Because otherwise you could go all the ways in that maze, all the ways, and get lost. So pick a red thread. Know that this is not your enemy. It's going to be uncomfortable. There's a reason why you cast away that reason, whether it's, you know, a very great person that has so much gifts to give, but you're just not used to being that person. That might be uncomfortable. Maybe you're a star, maybe you're super talented, maybe you're extremely beautiful, but you're hiding because you don't know how to handle it. So you don't know what you're going to find in the middle. You don't know what is waiting for you in the center of that labyrinth, but it's not an enemy. You're not going there to kill it. You know, in spirituality, we do say kill the ego or something like that. Or we say, you know, clean your shadows, or like cast away, or dissolve the old and bring in the new, or exorcism. Like, a lot of ideas are about, you know, destroying something. And well, why do we need to destroy it? Why can't we just embrace and see what that person does when it's loved, when it's feeling loved, when that version of you, when that heard version of you, or when that even it could be entitlement, right? Maybe you're extremely humble in life, but inside there is a deep entitled person that lives within you. Who would you be if you were loving that version of you? And how would that be, without the idea or the agenda of changing that, but just what would be the balance? Maybe there would be some kind of healthy um sense of, yeah, I'm good, right? Like, I'm actually, I deserve more than what this life is, and I'm too good for this kind of job, or I'm too good for those kind of friendships where I'm not respected or listened to, right? So that doesn't need to be called arrogance. It could just be what it is. And when you love it, people are able to also understand that they could love you because you're shining your true essence. So you're not going in the middle in order to kill the Minotaur. Maybe you could have your red thread and go through all the ways, maybe a lot of failures. But if you actually know that you're going with the intent of meeting that person and being in the center of that maze, and I know it might be scary, but you're just there to help that person, whether it's your ego, whether it's your shadow, whether it's your inner nemesis with yourself, like, just going there and facing them, observing them, witnessing all of it, I know some of it is going to be extremely visual, extremely uncomfortable. You're going to witness all of your desires, things that society has not yet accepted or has not yet talked about, or, you know, there's still a lot of things that are taboo, a lot of things that are, there's also things that are deeply incorrect, right? Depending on where we stand or which century we're in or how we feel. But there's things that, yeah, obviously racism is incorrect, right? And a lot of different things are going to stay and remain incorrect. But the more you're able to see it and just not judge it and see it and see it and see it, the more you're going to piece together where it came from and then do the actual work of healing that and choosing to transform and choosing to be, you know, choosing love instead of fear, choosing to be kind instead of hateful, you know, those kind of ways. So choosing to observe and observe and observe. And then if you could be in the position where you're able to embrace and integrate and just like hug it and make it a part of you, make it a seen part of you, so that you can witness within the next few weeks, the next few months, all the ways in which you're uncomfortable with that, but in which, you know, you learn because you're still growing. And we're not expecting anyone to be perfect. We're not expecting anyone to have it all figured out. You know, we make mistakes every day. It's okay. You're not perfect. You're never going to be perfect. But, you know, just entering, taking the hand of that person and leading them out of the labyrinth. And then you're just free. You're just out of the matrix. You're out of the cage. You're out of the prison. And that's it. You've done it. So you've got help, you've got guides, you've got the Akashic records, you've got the red thread, you've got the people that resonate with you, the people who do this kind of work who resonate with you, who can help you out. Obviously, there's modalities that work immensely and beautifully and that are going to stay on the mental, but they help you to find that balance between the mental and the experience, the feeling, the actual embodying of it. It just depends on who you are, because, you know, it depends. There's a variety of things that exist within this world, and there's no one size fits all. And then it also depends on that discernment that you can have, that, okay, is this real, is this true, is this resonating with me? And also, it does not need to be that long term, right? It does not need to be that one session, that one moment, that one meditation that's going to save you for life. It's all about practice. Spirituality is all about practice. It's all about sitting down every day or every week or every full moon, new moon, and just doing it, entering the maze again, and seeing if you left out someone, picking out your red thread, your love, and entering without being scared and going into that matrix again, that maze. Go all the way into your past lives, into your genetic line, finding that, and then going all the way back to the present, embracing, integrating, and starting again and again and again. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this reflection. I hope this helped. I hope that you can see that we're all human. There is nothing perfect. If people pretend that everything is that pure love and light, spiritual angels, then they're not connected to their shadow. They haven't done the work. And in order to really see your life change and to see this spiritual aspect of your life have a practical grounding method that changes you, that shifts how you experience this life, because we're not here to just meditate. We're here to actually make life a source of grace and bliss and connection with yourself, with others, with the nature, with the books, with everything. You know, we're here to enhance and better the life, because you've actually gone to the difficult places, because you've integrated the difficult things. So it has a thing. It can be something beyond just that, you know. So I hope this helped. Thank you. Like, subscribe, send it to your friends, and I'll see you soon.